What's up, fam? It is CJ. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope everybody had a great week. But we are here today to talk about Ready to Love. Yes, season 3, episode 3, and they called this episode Tables Are Turned because we know this week is the ladies' turn to go home because they got rid of 2 guys last week. But before we get into what happened this episode, y'all know, as always, make sure to thumbs up this video and also go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome, welcome. I hope you like it. I hope you share it. I hope you tell a friend to tell a friend. But anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this episode started with the group and they all met for brunch. Now, it's still a gang of them, so it's a lot of people. And I don't want this recap to be long, super long, just because there are so many people involved and there's so much to talk about. So we'll try to condense it as much as we can because I know y'all don't hang around that long anyway. So I'm not going to waste your time. Anyway, Tommy tells the group, that one of the ladies won't make it beyond the brunch. So at the end of the brunch, one of them are going to go home. So they, go into overdrive because nobody wants to go home. So now they are really going around and they're mingling with the fellas. Everybody is trying to get their spot, to the next week. So we see a couple of the guys. Troy, he is so creepy to me, and I'm not gonna get over him. But anyway, he, was spitting those same tire lines to every woman. Some women were into it, and some women not so much, I suppose. But Chris from last season, he sat and talked to Amber. And, they started discussing where they stood on finances immediately because we know that was a deal breaker last season, which got him sent home because he didn't believe in, I guess, footing all the bills, and him and Amber had a pretty decent conversation because she doesn't expect for the man to be like the sole provider. She believes in bringing her portion to the table as well. So I think that they both kind of agreed on that. So then we saw AJ, and AJ really wasn't feeling Andrea, but he was definitely feeling Stacy. Ida, we know Ida, the tall, bright-skinned girl with the short hair with the blonde highlights in it. She was just being like too much because everywhere that Stacy went, you would see Ida, behind. Ida wanted to come to every, little encounter that Stacy was having with the guy. And that it was off-putting to Stacy as well. And it was just creepy as hell to me also. But she did kind of follow her around and sat with every guy that she sat with. Now, next we saw David. And David was he's the guy that does like the marrying people on the side or the real estate, and he's doubles as like an ordained minister or something. But we saw him, and he was letting it be known that he wanted to save himself for marriage. And the comedian Tressa, she wasn't feeling that at all, because she wanted to know what the ding ding was hitting for. She feels like she needs to try it before she buys it, basically. And Ida was feeling Dietrich, and we know Dietrich is the guy that is 47 and wants to have another child. She was feeling him, and she basically lets him know that whoever deals with her has to have patience. And partly because she does not know how to shut up. That she talks a lot and she jokes, and her jokes are kind of awkward, but she let it be known that she does that when she's nervous, I guess. So anyway, Tommy comes out and lets them know that a lady is gonna go home, and he basically tells Ida that she gotta go. So Ida was pissed about that. Ida was not a good sport about it whatsoever. You know how people try to hug you when, you know, they tell you it's time to go home. She was not feeling all of that. And they were kind of, oh no, oh. And she was like, oh no, oh, my butt. You know, y'all kicked me off the show. Don't try and act sad that I'm leaving now. You know, she was very emotional about it. She was crying, and I guess she really wanted to find love, or she really, really wanted to be on TV, one or the other. But either way, they told her that she had to go. So next we saw, you know, it's time for them to actually start going on dates. So this is kind of where we get to see who really, really vibes, or who really, really connects and who does not. So they start the little dates off with AJ and Alexis. Alexis is the news producer, and we got AJ, who's the music producer. Now they go out to this really dope date. They go to make candles, and I thought that was something really cute. I wish we had something like that where I live, but we don't. We don't even got a Whole Foods here, so that goes to show you how jacked up it is where I stay. But anyway, you know, their date, Alexis is really, really bringing on like the sexual innuendos. Like, she is like very sensual, and everything that they say, she turns it into something sexual. And AJ is really not feeling that. He was really, you know, at first it was cute, but then it became overkill because she was trying to add sex into everything. And he wanted to get to know her more, of course, you know, on a personal level, but not necessarily a sexual level. But she was just really, I mean, she turned it on thick, and it was just too much for me. And so next we saw Jason and Kyra. Jason is the teacher, Kyra is the attorney. And they chose, you know, the simple, typical out to eat date. They sit down, they talk. Their date, you know, it was much more different than AJ and Alexis, just because they actually, you know, talked on a deeper level. And Jason opened up to Kyra about falling into depression and needing counseling at one point. And she wasn't really for that. You know, she wanted to make sure that he got help, because she said, you know, she's dealt with depression in her family and she knows what that can do to somebody. And she wasn't necessarily trying to get into a relationship with somebody with those issues. But he cleaned it up, said he went to counseling and everything was all good. So she was okay with that. So next we saw Joel, David, and Troy. They did a group date. They met with Andrea, Liz, Amber, Vernicia. I'm trying to think who else was there. Was Stacy there? I'm not sure. Oh no, Stacy wasn't there on this date, I don't think. But anyway, they met at this wine and paint spot. They did, you know, the paint and sip little deal that everybody does. So we see that Liz, you know, she's really feeling Joel, as he calls himself. I call him Joel. But Andrea, you know, she's feeling Troy. But at the same time, she's a little on guard because she feels like Amber, the other short, you know, cute girl with the braids, she feels like she is competition. And we could tell that Amber was feeling Troy. And I guess, you know, I don't know if you like creepy old men that like to kiss on every woman and take them on trips. You know, if that's your thing, that's fine. But she seemed to really be feeling him. And we also see that Vernicia is really feeling Joel. And I like the two of them when we did the whole meet the cast kind of deal. I thought that they would make a very cute couple together. And she's definitely feeling him. And hopefully he's feeling her, because I want to be able to say that I picked somebody who actually made it. But anyway, we then see, you know, Amber, you know, after a while, she's kind of observing Troy, because now Troy is all kissing up on Andrea, and, you know, he is really kissing on anybody who would lend him a cheek, and she's not really feeling that. So I think that she is kind of moving away from Troy. Hopefully she does, because Troy is trash. So then we see Dietrich, Alexis, Chris, Tressa, Stacy, AJ, Jason, and Kyra. These dates, I mean, they might as well have stayed at the brunch because this is a big group of people, but they all meet for a cooking class. And once again, Alexis is there and she is just being way too sexual. She is just doing the most again. I mean, putting stuff in her mouth, just really just doing the most. And they are seeing that and it's just like, dog, but I guess, they like it anyway. But Tressa and Dietrich, they talked initially and it was established that they were gonna be friends, or that he liked her more as a friend. But during this date tonight, it seems like his feelings are changing a little bit. He's kind of feeling Tressa. And we know Tressa, the comedian, the full figure comedian with the big full red fro. He is really starting to like her, and you can tell. And she's kind of shocked too. She's like, where did this come from? Because, last week you were telling me that you just wanted to be friends, but let me find out, you feeling Tressa. So I thought that was really cute. And then Stacy, she is definitely working the room. She was talking to Chris and they were having like a good conversation, and just like mid-sentence, she just like cut him off and just walked away and went over to talk to Dietrich. And Chris was kind of like, well, dang. And so it was just crazy that she just cut him off like that. But she was definitely working the room. Like, she was going around to everybody. AJ, like, she was like talking to all the guys. She was definitely making her presence known. Now, during the meeting with Tommy, Jason kind of lets them know a really cool little something that happened, I guess during their little break. Well, Joel called him up and he told Joel that he was moving, and Joel came to help. And he was really blown away by that because he didn't expect that to happen. And Joel kind of got emotional because they were big up in him for doing that. But he just basically said, I look at this more than an opportunity, as more than an opportunity to find love. But I look at this to develop, a possible brotherhood with these guys. And so he said, it was no, skin off my back or whatever, or sweat off my back, is skin off my teeth. Okay, yeah. So anyway, he goes, and he says, he met his mom and everything, and it was just a really decent time, and he didn't owe him anything for it. He was glad to help. And so we then see, Dietrich is letting it be known that he is really liking, Tressa, but Tressa is falling into most of the guys like bottom pick. They all keep saying, she's more of a homegirl, this and that. But Dietrich is like, nah, it's more than that, it's deeper than that. And I think we ought to give her a chance. But they tell them, to pick the bottom two, and we're going to get two of y'all to take them out, and basically only one of them gonna come back. So anyway, Andrea goes out with David, and David tells her that the group basically wasn't feeling her, that she wasn't assertive enough, and that they felt like she wasn't ready for love. And so she wasn't broken up about it. He let her down really, really, really lightly and respectfully, and she couldn't do anything but respect it. She left, and it was what it was. Dietrich went out with Tressa. Tressa, again, was wanting to know, what changed his mind about her, because he saw her as a friend initially. And now it seems like he is willing to explore other, avenues with her. And he just basically said it was about their vibe, because she does seem like a really, really dope individual. She seems really nice and naturally funny. And I think he is looking beyond the surface, because I think with these guys, everybody had like, somebody, a physical, I guess, presence in mind, these features that they wanted in a woman. And most of them wanted a slim, petite woman. Tressa is very full figured, but she wears it well, and she's very confident. And that's what they ought to be looking at, but we know how superficial people can be. But anyway, he tells her basically, you know, you were coming up a lot in the conversation, and a lot of the guys, you were, you know, their bottom selection. But he was like, I fought for you, and I told them, no, I need my chance with her. You know, y'all might be getting rid of somebody that I can really have a relationship with, and I want to keep her. He was like, and a lot of other guys agreed with me, and so you're safe. So Tressa lives to see another day. She was excited about it. It was really cool. And that's where the episode ended. Now, I still was long-winded and more than I should have been, but if I left anything out that y'all want to talk about, y'all know to always drop down in the comments below and we can talk about it. And I will probably be back. I don't know. I'm going to try to do Married to Medicine this weekend. I don't know. But as always, again, make sure to like this video, share it, subscribe to my channel. Love you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.